Holy FUD, Batman. Should I sell Altria, ticker symbol MO, on this very drastic 10% drop? And the news, oh my goodness. We're going to get into all of that in this video, whether you should buy, hold, or sell, and whether this is a great long-term dividend play. Let's get right into it. No intros. Let's go. Altria, or ticker symbol MO, you might have heard of as the tobacco and smoking stock. This has an 8% dividend yield, and I have a pretty strong feeling that it's going to be a bit higher in the future, but we'll get into that in the next section. Initially known as Philip Morris and rebranded in 2003, Altria is a US-based holding company with origins dating back to the mid-19th century. Currently, it oversees a leading portfolio of products for adult consumers in the US market, but is getting a little bit of trouble with the teenagers, all of which are manufactured and marketed by subsidiaries including Philip Morris, US Smokeless Tobacco Company, John Middleton, and Helix. Now, they also hold investments, which is why they're getting in trouble right now, with Anheuser-Busch, Juul, and Kronos. Now, Juul, you may know of as the e-vapor company. They have a 35% private stake in Juul. Also, in May 13th, 2022, which was very recent, they went into a definitive agreement to purchase all assets and properties of Poda Holdings, which is a Canadian company focused on heated tobacco product technologies. This company really provides for shareholders very well by giving them buybacks, and they have an 80% payout ratio of adjusted diluted EPS, and they've increased and paid a dividend for more than 50 consecutive years, making them a dividend aristocrat. Their outlook, according to Moody's and Standard & Poor's, is very stable. And looking at their free cash flow, you can see why this stock is so attractive. And if we take out the investments that they have made, we can see that the free cash flow is substantial compared to any investments they made. It's important to note that in December of 2018, Altria announced offering $12.8 billion for a 35% stake in Juul Labs. Now, this is the e-vaping. It's supposed to be safer and it's supposed to be better. Juul's motivations for the deal largely stemmed from the fact that they were facing immense pressures, and Altria, especially with their track record of management, would help them navigate the legalities, but not so fast. Juul's market share has shrunk from 72% in 2018 to an estimated 26% as of Q1 2022. And basically what has happened to Juul is that all of the underage restrictions that come with it has shown that underage Juul has fallen very sharply and much more than expected. The tobacco industry as a whole is becoming even more highly regulated. Of course, this is as expected because, of course, it does have a lot of health risks, but that is not stopping people from, unfortunately, smoking. So looking at Altria's company as a whole, we can go into two major sections, which is smokable products, including cigarettes and cigars, and oral tobacco products. And Altria, of course, has pledged to move beyond smoking. That is what they're pledging to do, even though their whole company is based and their revenues are based on cigarettes. So in their 10K, the management has developed a plan of how they will move beyond smoking while also giving their shareholders priority. Also part of Juul, it has been really bad for shareholders since the time of the investment. Altria has essentially written down the value of its stake multiple times, falling from an initial $12.8 billion to a present $1.7 billion. So basically their chunk of Juul is $1.7 billion, and that's very important to note. It's also very important to note that if Altria's Juul investment falls below 10% of its initial value, which is $1.28 billion, or if Juul is prohibited from selling e-cigarettes e-cigarette products in the US for at least 1 year, Altria is allowed to re-enter the vaping market with Mark 10 or other products that they own, which could also be a positive, but again, we will get into the nitty-gritty of the article that just came out, which was crazy. Regulation is, of course, a key factor into Altria Group stock and company, but as long as they're able to sell their tobacco and cigarettes, I am sure that management will have a good plan on how to move forward. Altria has been on the New York Stock Exchange since 1985, and it's gone from $3 to $41.71. As of this recording, it is down 10%. It has a market cap of $75.546 billion, a PE ratio trailing 12 months of 25.54, EPS of 163, and a dividend yield of 7.95% with an ex-dividend date of June 14th, which was recent, and a 52-week range of $41 to $57.05. If we look at the dividend history, we can see that it has risen since 2013. So we start at 44 cents, go to 48 cents, 52 cents, 56 cents, 61 cents, all the way up to 84 cents and to its current 90 cents. So if you buy one share, it will give you 90 cents as of its ex-dividend date of 6/14/2022. The PE ratio currently on the Nasdaq.com is 27.87, and the annual dividend is 3.6. Now they are able to pay that with their payout ratio at around 80%. So they have some wiggle room. I would expect for this company to raise its dividends because that is what it has done for several years now. And it doesn't seem like any economic news is really holding them back from doing that. Even if we take all of the Juul news out, it actually looks quite bullish for them. So knowing that it is steady and consistent in revenue, as well as having a dividend increase with a very juicy dividend yield of 8%, let's look at the news, see if we can get something good out of this, and see if we should buy, hold, or sell according to this news, because it is down 10%. So it says shares of cigarette giant MO fell more than 7%, 10%. After the Wall Street Journal reported that the FDA is preparing to order Juul Labs Inc. to take its e-cigarettes off the U.S. market. Now, as we had previously said, that if this had happened, Altria Group knew that regulations were taking a downturn on Juul, so they did have that clause in there that said, if this does happen, we will take our own vapes to the market. The company has taken non-cash charges on the investment as regulatory scrutiny of Juul and the effects of its e-cigarettes on kids escalated. And that basically just means that they wrote it off. This has nothing to do with the FCF, the free cash flow. Again, it's down 10% and they don't even add it to their revenue. As of March 31st, Altria said the estimated fair value of its investment in Juul was $1.6 billion. So remember, if they go to $1.28 billion, they can just say, you know what, Juul? Nope, we're not doing this. We're going to sell our own, and it doesn't have the regulatory scrutiny of Juul. The Journal reported Wednesday that the FDA could issue a marketing denial order that follows a nearly 2-year review of data presented by Juul, which sought authorization of its tobacco and menthol flavored products to stay in the US market. They're basically saying that someone who is very close to the matter is telling them that nope, the FDA is canceling all of that and removing Juul off of all of the US shelves. Currently, the stock is down 11% so far this year, outperforming the S&P 500's 21% drop over that same period. Knowing this news and the Juul news, what are we supposed to do with this stock? Is this for everyone? Should we buy, hold, or sell? Number one, I understand if any of you investors out there have any moral obligations for this company. You know, a lot of people do not invest in stocks that are driven by tobacco or cigarettes because of moral obligations, and I think that is incredibly admirable. This is just going to be for the investors who are okay with purchasing this stock. So I would honestly say that this sounds a little bit like FUD to me. I don't see the actual management or Altria group coming out and saying this. I don't see the FDA saying this. I see someone familiar with the matter saying this. So until there is management or FDA actually confirming this, we don't really know if they are pulling this off the shelves, but obviously it's getting to a point where there's rumors. So we are seeing this 10% drop because obviously Altria has a 35% stake of Juul, and in their long-term forecast, Altria has said that they want to go more towards non-smoking, and vaping could be one of those future products for them. Why I personally do not think that Altria should have gone down 10% is because not only is Juul just part of their investment, but due to the regulatory concerns that Altria has, they can get out of this. This doesn't really affect any of their revenue, and it's actually costing shareholders. So this looks a bit bullish to me. And also we have to remember their regulatory clause. They said that they have their own vaping that they will use as a replacement if Juul is taken off the shelves. So they have a backup plan. They have several backup plans. This management is really great, and they seem to care about their shareholders a lot and care about their company a lot. And I just see this as an opportunity. If you are looking for an 8% dividend yield, that's a dividend aristocrat with a steady dividend and steady revenue, I see this as a buy. If you are a long-term dividend investor, since 2012, it's gone up about 55%. According to my own DCF that I did, I would say that a fair value of this for ticker symbol MO is $35, but I will be DCAing or dollar cost averaging into this company. I am expecting a dividend increase. If they don't do a dividend increase, I do count this as a nice discount from pretty much a rally that we have had. I think there's a little bit of manipulation going on here, especially since this is one of the best inflation-proof and recession-resistant stocks on the market with a very attractive yield. So I personally will be buying, and I think this is just a great stock to have in your portfolio just as consistent and steady dividends. Thank you so much for watching. This is Supergirl Investor here to save the world and make you wealthy. If you found this information helpful, please hit that like button and comment down below whether you're buying, selling, or holding ticker symbol MO Altria. I make videos like this pretty much every month, so please subscribe. It's been a little of a rocky journey personally, but hopefully I can make more videos for you guys because I honestly love doing this. But this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm just a finance student at NYU right now, getting ready for next semester, which is pretty crazy. But that's another story time. But anyway, please let me know what you're doing with ticker symbol MO. Personally, I am going to hold it, and I'm buying on this dip. I do think it's a little bit overvalued at the moment compared to its historical timeline and historical revenue, but I am expecting a dividend increase despite it already having an 8% dividend yield. So I'm looking forward to that, and who knows, this could be FUD due to the market makers wanting to get in for a higher dividend yield. So happy investing. Please be safe and healthy. Much love.